What went wrong last night, and what can be done to fix it?
Well, Kevin, it's a great question. We don't know a lot yet. What we know is that there was an app that the precinct leaders were given to transmit their results back up to the county level, then from the county to the state party. And at some part of that process broke down. The results didn't get there. They were inconsistent, as we were told by the state party late last night. And what they've done now is, as of 3 a.m., they were sending staff out to every county. There are 99 counties in Iowa. I was out there in 2004 working the president's reelection campaign for President Bush. And it's a lot of territory to cover, a lot of individual precincts to go to, collect those individual ballots and the cards and match them up against the totals they have, because they want to be sure when they report these results, which are going to be very late, I'm not even sure we'll get them today, that they're exactly accurate, having now had this sort of problem with the app.
Jamil, we talked earlier about the political ramifications, but just fundamentally, I mean, if you're outside of the Washington bubble, this is perplexing. This is confounding as to how this could happen. And it could really happen anywhere, could it not?
Absolutely. I mean, look, most states have a pretty solid electoral system. They've been using voting machines for a while. Back in 2000, obviously, you remember the punch card challenges and the hanging chads and the like. So we all thought, OK, let's move to digital ballots. It's going to be a lot easier, a lot better. Yeah. And now, the challenges, well, what about the cybersecurity challenges? What about these kind of technical challenges? The caucuses are something in the middle. They've been doing caucuses in Iowa since the 1800s. There's an old tradition of doing these things. And they're using a new technology now, and it just didn't, for whatever reason, have the capacity or the capability to hold up, whether they didn't test it right or who knows what exactly went wrong. They're saying it wasn't a hack, but it does highlight the challenges with using technology in these spaces. And if you don't have paper backups, luckily they do here, what the challenges might be going forward, particularly as we think about potential election manipulation efforts going forward by, nation states. Now, we don't know that they're going to come after our actual election, our votes. They haven't done that yet, and we know that would be a huge issue. But it's still something to be thinking about and be getting ahead of as we look towards the November elections.
I think that's a really great point, Jamil, especially through the prism of how the intelligence community is working with the political front. But it's really a patchwork across this country. Local elections are different from state elections, of course, from federal elections as well. Does that lead to confusion at the ballot box, not for voters, but for how to count these votes?
Well, Kevin, I think the main issue here is how to get the states to work together with one another and to work better with the federal government to protect these votes when the big election comes up in November. When that general election comes up, we know the Russians are targeting it. We've heard the Chinese might be looking to get involved, also other nation states. And so what we've got to do is, look, individual states run these elections as they always have, right? The problem is that individual states don't have the wherewithal, just like a single company doesn't have the wherewithal, to defend against a nation-state attack. So what you've got to do is bring these states together in sharing alliances, to share information about threats, to collaborate together on defense, and work with the federal government. Chris Krebs at DHS is leading on this issue to really bring together a collective defense system to defend the nation when it comes to these elections.